Hey, this is Blair Hicks, and this vlog acts as my major project submission for my video game theory course. I have chosen Persona 5 as my game of focus for this project, and I will discuss 3 points for this video. Persona 5's unique take on progressive gameplay and story, how it hides its progressive nature in a fake emergent shell, and how said gameplay makes a compelling story with a great sense of urgency. Persona 5's gameplay can be divided into 2 parts: social simulation and dungeon crawling. The latter of the two represents some pretty traditional Japanese RPG gameplay, turn-based combat with weakness and special skills. We're instead going to focus on the social side of the game. What makes Persona 5's progressive style different from the Metroidvania formula we might expect is the fact that every action you take progresses your timeline. You're not bound by gears or weapons, but instead you have an overarching calendar counting down the days from the moment you start. Fighting in the dungeons, spending time with your confidants, raising your character's stats, it is all constantly progressing your timeline. When in sections of the story where you have a dungeon to clear, the game gives you a very clear and bright reminder that your time is limited. While this seems like it could be something incredibly annoying, it instead does an amazing job of constantly moving the player forward, with players able to decide exactly how they pace themselves. As well, the way the game is separated into separate days, it gives you a very natural stopping point to either take a break or save your progress. All of this progressive gameplay is actually hidden inside of a slightly emergent shell. You are free to go where you want and do what you want at any point in time. Do you enter the dungeon day one and try to grind it out as fast as possible? Or do you spend some time raising your character's social status? Spend some time with your romance option? Or hit the gym with the boys? You have a plethora of options for how you want to spend your days and nights, but each choice takes up that entire time slot. Sometimes, even the entire day. Want to go to the dungeon? No matter how far you get, that entire day is done. Want to spend the day eating burgers to raise some social status? That's your entire night. So while you have the choices present in emergent games, it's set in an underlying progressive structure you can never get away from. All of this lends incredibly well to the story, which has this relentless sense of urgency. Even in lulls where our characters enjoy their leisurely downtime, the feeling that something is coming is always there for the player. They say that time and tide wait for no man, and this might be one of the only games where that is actually true. My problem with any game, progressive or emergent, is that there is almost never any consequences to ignoring your main questline. How many people ignored their missing son in Fallout 4? How many hours were wasted in the Golden Saucer instead of fighting Sephiroth? Most games have no concept of urgency, and the plot of Persona 5 is actually overflowing with it. There may be days in a row where you do nothing but story events, as shown here. No social options, no dungeon diving, just plot progression. Few games get you this close to the story with such an unshakable pace, and fewer still do it this well. As much as it pains me to use them, because they're full of bias and crap, the official IGN review helps prove my point. Andrew Goldfarb writes, "By offering so many options and only a finite amount of free time, Persona 5 gives every decision a fantastic amount of weight. Choosing to work part-time might give you extra cash to buy better weapons, but it comes at the cost of ranking up a confidant or increasing your stats. Spending time with a specific confidant might help you learn a skill that fits your playstyle, but it means sacrificing learning more about a different character whose story might be more interesting. Maximizing the skill you've been grinding away at, or finishing a side story after multiple in-game months of watching it progress, are tremendously rewarding experiences, and even lamenting the opportunities you missed adds a unique layer of replayability that makes starting a new game plus all the more enticing. And if we shift over to VentureBeat, Mike Minotti had, a poorly written, conflicting view. Persona 5 is complex. It will take you around 100 hours to finish, and none of this feels like filler. That's great, but can also make you feel a little anxious. You can only do so much each day, and you'll sometimes worry you won't get to accomplish everything you want to before the credits roll. You'll learn how to maximize your planning as much as you can, but you'll feel like you're not being as proficient as you could be. There's always an ideal path, a way to plan your days that will enable you to accomplish everything, but you'll usually need a guide in order to know how to achieve it. While these may be conflicting opinions on the enjoyability of these features, both serve to prove my point about the implementation of them. This game does what little have even tried to do before it: give you that real-world sense of choice, time, and consequence, while still telling you a set and unchangeable story. So, as you can see, Persona 5 offers something very rare in games at this point in time, and this is a staple for this game series. Hopefully, with the game's glowing reception, we'll see these kinds of features used in more games. I know that Fire Emblem Three Houses pulled a lot of inspiration from Persona, so hopefully that will continue into Western releases as well. And I, for one, cannot wait for the inevitable Persona 6. Thank you for watching this. Take care.